Hello and welcome to this daily yoga practice. We're going to touch on a little bit of everything. Our hands, our feet, our shoulders, our hips, our core, our abs, our back, our spine, our neck, so that we're really getting into all the different places in our body that we might not normally get into in our normal day, where we tend to maybe sit a lot or stand a lot or do the same repetitive ranges of motion. So let's begin by closing our eyes. Relax your shoulders. And notice your sit bones. See if you can find the center balancing point of your sit bones. So you're not tilted forward or tilted back. And you're not leaning a little bit to the right or to the left. Everything feels nice and balanced. And then balance your rib cage over your pelvis. So you're not jutting your ribs forward or rounding them back. And center your shoulders over the rib cage and the hips. And take your throat back a little bit so your head is pushed back so it centers over your shoulders instead of being a little bit forward. So you want to have a little bit more length in the back of your neck and a feeling of your head floating above your shoulders. And notice your breath moving in and out through your nose, softly and powerfully. And see if you can feel your whole torso moving outward on the inhale and a little bit inward on the exhale. So that you feel all this interior space being filled up with the breath. And you feel movement, the ribs moving out to the side, front to back, and even a little downward pressure into the pelvis, a little upward pressure into your throat. And know that your breath is acting like a pump to massage all your organs, to keep things healthy and fluid and moving and alive. And you begin to just kind of do little cat-cow movements back and forth. So on the inhale, you're arching your spine forward, and on the exhale, you're rounding back. Good. And open your eyes and cross your right ankle above your left knee, and we'll work on the feet a little bit. So take the fingers of your left hand, slide them between your right toes, grab the toes and put a little traction by pulling the toes away from the heel. And start to flex and extend your toes. You can twist your feet. And you can take your right thumb and massage the three arches of your foot. So the medial arch on the inside, the lateral arch on the outside, and the transverse arch that goes below the metatarsal heads of your toes. And when we can balance on the big toe mound and the pinky toe mound in the center of the heel, that we call the tripod of the foot, that helps us to be more balanced in how we stand and walking, running, anything. So we can practice that when we're doing standing poses, but really kind of energetically through our feet in any position. So release your fingers, spread the toes nice and wide. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So cross the left ankle above the right knee, thread the fingers of your right hand between your toes, maybe put a little traction, and then move the toes around, massage the sole of your foot, and notice if you feel any places that are tender or feel a little bit hard. Our feet should have a lot of mobility because we're meant to kind of handle any kind of terrain and be able to spring off our feet to run or to go faster, to reach higher. And spread your toes. Just see if you can admire the space between your toes. And come back to your comfortable seat and work a little bit on our wrists. So interlace your fingers and bring the heels of the hands together. Then lift the right wrist up. Bring the right wrist down, heels together. Lift the left wrist up and bring it down. And we'll create a wave-like action. So beginning with your right elbow, lift your elbow up and ripple across. Using that same motion of the right wrist up and then down, and then the left wrist up and then down. And just see if you can get the feeling of how we are mostly water. So we should be able to bend and flow and move. Now let's start from the other side. So the left elbow lifts up and ripples across. I love this. This is like so much fun for me to do. It's also really nice for stretching out your fingers and the wrists. And then reach forward, round your spine. Keep pushing forward as you start to reach forward and lift up. Reaching your palms of your hands toward the sky so that the higher you reach, the closer your arms will come towards your head. Take a big in-breath here, and on your exhale, slowly float your arms all the way down. Gently roll up the shoulders. Reverse the direction of your circles. And then we'll work on the neck a little bit. So lower your left ear towards your left shoulder without dropping your head forward. So keeping a lift. So your spine is lifting up. Your ear, side of your head, is dropping down. And then you can reach the right hand out to the side, either close to the floor or more shoulder height. Begin to internally and externally rotate the shoulder. Keeping that little lift. And notice if you start to drift forward and sag. So reignite your body by lifting up a little bit higher, keeping that nice open chest. And just notice how if you're moving your shoulder quickly or slowly. Notice the whole feeling, like where you feel the stretch on the right side of your neck. And let your head float up and just take a moment to notice how your neck feels. If the right side feels a little bit different. Now lower your right ear towards your right shoulder. Reach your left arm out to the left. And same thing, begin to internally and externally rotate your shoulder. Continue to breathe nice and fully. You might hear that little clicking in my left shoulder. And inhale back up again. Notice if it feels a little more balanced, or one side might still feel a little tighter than the other. So part of yoga is learning to observe in more detail and more depth. So let's come on to our hands and knees in tabletop. And instead of casually just letting your fingers relax and your body kind of sink down, grip the mat with your hands, hug your arms in so there's a little bit of upward lift with your energy. And you feel the deep connection of your hands to the earth and your hands through your arms to your shoulders. And just begin to move around. So you don't have to grip so hard that there's a lot of tension, but you don't want to be completely relaxed either. And just feel that for yourself, like grip and release. And grip and release, and just notice the difference. And now we'll do some spinal rolls or waves. So start lifting your tailbone up, sinking the ribs down, pressing the chest forward, and lifting the chin up. Think of externally rotating your shoulders so there's a little pressure of your fingers wanting to turn outward. And then tuck your tailbone under, let your back round, coming into your cat. And just go back and forth, letting your pelvis, your tailbone lead the way. And trying to feel like each vertebrae is moving independently as well as interdependently, since everything is connected by fascia and muscles and tendons and ligaments and nerves. And then see if you can reach your ribs over to the right and then over to the left. So you're expanding one side of your body and contracting the other side. And walk your hands forward a little bit. Set your hips back towards your heels. And you can always place a blanket in between your quad, your hamstrings, and your calves. And come up onto your finger pads. Press your fingers down and forward into the floor. Feel that nice stretch in your shoulders. On your next inhale, you can keep the heels of the hands up or bring them down and round forward into cat. And then arch back into child's pose. And just keep this movement going with the breath. And bring your forearms down. Slide your legs back, lower your hips to the floor, coming into Sphinx pose. And just gently tap the top of your feet on the floor. Press your hands down into the mat. Isometrically drag your hands towards your hips. And notice how that presses your chest forward a little bit. And slide your hands back. Press into your hands, rise up into your cobra, open up, activate your legs by pressing your feet into the floor. Press the back of your shoulder blades forwards. And slowly lower down. We'll do that 2 more times. Curl up, open up into a little back bend. And then extend forward to lower down. 1 more time. Inhale, rise up, open up, and exhale back to child's pose. Inhale, come forward again. Stretch your right leg back, press into your big toe mound and reach out to your heel. And float your leg up, float your left arm forward. Keep your rib cage lifted. And on your exhale, bend your elbow, touch your elbow to your knee, trying to keep your knee and your foot up high. Then inhale, extend outward. Exhale, hug inward. 1 more time. Inhale, extend outward. Exhale, hug inward. This time, lower your left hand down, stretch your right leg back, and swing it over to the left. So you're contracting your left side, expanding the right side. And pick your leg up, swing it all the way out to the side. And start to move in circles, or you can move back and forth. Really all kinds of different options here. And you can also flex your foot, extend your foot, invert your ankle, evert your ankle, internally rotate your hips, externally rotate them. And step your foot forward, keeping your hands to the inside of your foot, and begin to open your knee out to the side, coming onto the outside edge of your foot. Then bring the knee in and tap. And bring your hand to the outside of your foot, stretch your knee forward past your toes, engage your back leg so the inner thigh is active, and keep stretching your knee forward with the heel down. And notice that big stretch on the back hip flexor, as well as nice flexion of your ankle and the front of your ankle, and then maybe stretching the back of the ankle a little bit. And you can shift your weight from side to side. And tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up, straighten your front leg if you can. Wing your hips from side to side. And you can always bend one knee and then bend the other knee. You could keep both knees straight if that's possible for you. And lower your back knee down and step back into your tabletop. Stretch the left leg back, pushing out through your heel. Float your leg up and float your right arm forward. Remember to keep a little lift to the belly so you're not sagging, but you're lifted. And on your exhale, pull your elbow to your knee. Keep your foot up nice and high instead of dropping it. And extend forward and back. And then hug in and lift. Inhale, extend. Exhale, hug in. Lower your right hand down, straighten your left leg back, and swing your left leg over to the right. You can even gaze over your right shoulder at your left foot. Feel that big stretch on your left side. And pick your leg up, swing it all the way out to the side. And begin to rock forward and back, maybe circle around. And you can flex, extend, invert, evert. So I'm just moving my foot so maybe you can see it. And then internally rotate and externally rotate your hips. Then step your foot forward to the outside of your hand. Begin to open your knee out to the side and back inward. Bring your hand to the outside of your foot and bring your knee forward past your toes. So you can adjust your foot a little bit forward like I'm doing. And press the back foot into the floor so that you engage the back leg. You can even hover your knee off the floor a little bit if you would like. And rooting down through the left heel, reach your left knee forward. And you can shift your weight from one side to the other side. And tuck your back toes, lift your back knee up. Straighten your front leg if you can. If you can't, you could bend one knee at a time and then maybe the other knee. You could bring your legs in a little closer to each other. And maybe wing your hips out from side to side. And this time step back into downward facing dog. So again, remember to grip the mat with your hands, hug your arms in, lift the lower ribs up. Bend the knees forward and reach back through your heels. So you have a nice long stretch from your fingertips to your sit bones, from your sit bones to your heels. And come up onto your toes, walk your feet forward to your hands. Lift and spread all your toes. And root down through the tripod of your foot, push into the earth, inhale, rise all the way up. Interlace your fingers again and reach your palms up toward the sky. So the palms are reaching up and the tailbone's reaching down, ribs soften inward. Take a big breath here, and then as you exhale, shift your hips and your ribs to the left and reach your arms to the right. Inhale back up to center and exhale. Hips and ribs to the right, arms to the left. Inhale back to center. Release your arms, let them float down. And again, just softly roll out the shoulders, both directions. And let's come up onto our toes. Hug your ankles in and slowly lower the toes down. And inhale, add the arms. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, lower down. Keep hugging the midline, especially your ankles hug in towards each other. Lift up nice and high. Exhale, lower and release. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, lower, and come into a forward fold. Place your hands down, step back into plank. And grip with the mat with your hands. Keep your ribs lifting, pushing the floor away. And slowly float down, bending the elbows, hugging in. Inhale, rise up into your cobra. Open up. Lift your hips, stretch back into child's pose. And come down onto your forearms and step your feet back into forearm plank. Now see if you can relax your neck here. Even though your whole body is working here, forearm plank is challenging, but it's really good for building up that deep core strength. You could even push back and forth off your toes if you want. And just see how much you can relax even within this effort. So hug your legs in, hug your arms in. Breathe nice and fully. And you can stay here. You could lower your knees down, you could rest, or you could walk your feet forward, lifting your hips up. Press down into your hands and reach your chest back towards your legs. You can always bend the knees. Keep hugging the arms in towards each other. And slowly walk back into your forearm plank. Lower down, slide your hands back, rise up to your cobra. Or you could do upward facing dog if you like, with the thighs just hovering above the floor. Trying to keep the shoulders open, not letting them come forward. And tuck your toes, press back to your down dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, hug your knee into your chest. Keep your foot up nice and high. And step forward into crescent lunge. Keeping the back heel lifting, press down through your feet. Interlace your fingers behind your back, opening up the shoulders. Reach back through your back heel and forward through your front knee. And then lift your chest up. Reach your arms up into cactus. And eventually straighten your arms if you like. Take a few breaths here. On your next inhale, lift up even higher on your back toes so you can spin your back foot open, coming into warrior two. Keep your legs nice and active, rooting in through the tripod of your feet. And then reach up and back, reverse your warrior. Come back through warrior two. Spin the back heel up, coming back into crescent lunge. And reach your arms back as you float the back leg up, coming into warrior three variation. Your arms can be back, they can be out to the side, they could be forward. And lower your hands down, step back to down dog. And repeat that on the other side. So inhale, reach your left leg up. Work the inner thigh, so the inner thigh is moving back. And pull your knee into your chest. Really squeeze your thigh in towards your chest and step your foot forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. Bring your hands behind your back again, this time with the opposite pinky to the outside, so it probably feels a little weird. And reach back. Lifting your chest up, squeezing your inner thighs, using your glutes, release your hands, cactus your arms, and press the elbows forward, and then straighten the arms. We'll hold this here for a breath or two. Really grounding and reaching. And then inhale, lift up higher on your toes, rotate your foot open. Make sure that your knee is tracking with your second toe so it's not caving in. Extend out through your arms, root down through your feet, and reach up and back. Reverse your warrior. And come back through warrior two. Spin the back heel up as you reach your arm forward, coming in, back into crescent lunge. And then step forward into your front foot as you float the back leg up, coming into warrior three variation. Arms can be in whatever direction you want. And we'll hold it here. Keep the top leg really active. And lower your hands down. Step back into down dog. Walk your feet forward and come on into a squat. Bring your elbows to the inner knees and your hands together. Draw your hands in toward your chest to press the elbows open. Squeeze your knees into your elbows and press your elbows out into your knees. And then slowly let that knees start to come in. Lower your hips to the ground. You can use your hands behind you if you want. And hold the back of your legs so you can pull your chest toward your legs and pull your legs in towards your chest. Now you can stay here, or you could release your arms. You could stay here, or you could straighten the legs. And just hold it for a few breaths. And bend your knees and cross your bring your right heel next to the left hip and the left foot next to the outside of the right knee, and twist towards your front knee. And think of it this like a fountain. Like it's smaller at the bottom and it kind of lifts you up and then expands you as you twist. And inhale back to center and twist in the opposite direction. Grab a hold of your left foot with the left hand and extend your arm and leg out. And then come back into our Navasana boat pose. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So bring the left foot down, bring the right foot to the outside of the left leg. Twist to your right. And again, lifting up through from the base of your spine, expanding outward across your shoulders. Inhale back to center and twist the other side. Take your right hand, grab your right, outside your right foot, extend your arms and your legs out. Just lifting up through your heart. And lean back a little bit and bring your feet back into Navasana. Now, if you want, you could try grabbing your feet and hugging your legs toward your chest and your chest towards your legs, finding a little balance. Then from here, start to round your spine and we're going to lower down onto our backs. So you're trying to kind of hollow out your belly. And slowly let everything touch the floor. And just notice how you feel. So do a little bit on our backs. So cross your right ankle above your left knee for eye of the needle. Thread your right hand between your legs and either hold the back of your left thigh or the front of your left shin. You can move around here. Maybe do a little bit of rocking from side to side and just notice how the feeling in your hips change a little bit as you move. And switch sides. So left ankle crosses above the right knee. Again, move around here. And what are you noticing? Do both sides feel pretty much the same, or does one side feel tighter than the other? And release your legs. Bring your knees and your ankles together and bring your legs at 90 degrees. Open your arms out to the side. Take an inhale. And on your exhale, twist your knees over to the left as you turn your head to the right. Try and keep your right shoulder down. And you can always prop your legs up on a pillow or a pillow between your knees. Now you can either stay here or you could extend your right leg and maybe grab your foot with your left hand or just extend your leg out. And then you could extend your left leg towards the bottom of your mat. You could stay here or you could bend your left knee and reach for your left foot with your right hand. And just breathe your way into this twist. You can move around. Notice if you move your feet, how it changes the feeling of this pose. And see if you can just let yourself settle in here. And we'll just take a few more breaths here. Release your left foot if you're holding it, extend it out. And then slowly bring your right hip back to the ground, come back onto your back. Release your leg, extend out through the toes as you lower down. And you can recenter yourself on your mat if you like. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So bring your legs up again to 90 degrees. This time twist your legs to the right. And you can turn your head to the left. You might want to stay here for a couple of breaths. You could stay here for the whole time we're doing this twist, or you could extend your left leg, maybe grab a hold of your foot with your right hand, extend the right leg down. And you could stay here, or you could bend your right knee and grab a hold of your foot. And again, just move around here, play around. And we'll just stay here for a few more breaths. And then to come out, you can release your right foot if you were holding it. Bring your left hip back to the floor. Center your hips and shoulders on the mat. Straighten your right leg and reach out through your left toes as you slowly lower your leg down. And hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug. And float your arms and legs up into dead bug pose. So the back of your shoulders should be on the floor, not up in the air, but on the floor. And you want to feel like your hands and your feet are just floating above your shoulders and your hips. So you're really relaxed here. And then we'll make our way into a short savasana. So you can lower your feet to the floor. Relax your arms out by your sides, but with a little bit of space between your hands and your hips, and with the palms facing up. Make any little adjustments that you need so you can feel completely relaxed. Think of sinking your rib cage a little bit towards the ground so you're not in a big arch, but your ribs are down. And there's maybe just a little teeny bit of space underneath your low back. And focus on your breath again. And see if you can make your exhales longer than your inhales. And taking time for savasana is very important, although it's oftentimes a pose we might want to skip. So just stay here with me for maybe 5 more breaths or so. And you can always stay longer if you like. So if you want to end your practice now with me, you can just gently roll to your side and roll up to a comfortable seat. You can stay longer in your savasana. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. I hope that you feel really good and something that is going to inspire you to practice this or some kind of yoga every day, even if it's for just a couple of minutes, or even if it's how you think and how you act towards yourself and others. Because yoga goes beyond the mat. It's about a lifestyle. I would really appreciate it if you would leave a comment below, share this with your friends, hit the like button, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.